I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, September the 19th, brought to you in part by VITALIX. Since 1967, VITALIX has been providing excellence in animal health, including but not limited to all-American ID tags for all classes of livestock, including 1- and 2-piece tags. For more information, go to y-tex.com. Preparing for the election, came to Oklahoma City on Wednesday and preparing for the Heritage Place quarter horse racing yearling sale, and gassing up there in my hometown Canyon, Texas, and thought, man, that didn't get much gas in there. What was the deal on that? And looked up, and the gas is $2.59. Whoa! All of a sudden, gas is starting to get more reasonable. Diesel's well under $3 a gallon. And then I see that the Fed cut the interest rates by 0.5%. Hey, everything's great. What are we complaining about here? You know, maybe the inflation's not as bad. No, I went to the grocery store there a couple of days ago and bought regular groceries for the household there, $400. But it's amazing how they have controls on things to make it look more reasonable and make it look so much better as we get really near the election. So, you know, all of a sudden things aren't so bad. You know, what are we complaining about? Hey, this isn't too bad. Maybe we should just stay with what we got. Guys, you got to be thinking about this. I don't know if any of you watched the Gutfeld program on Fox News on Wednesday night. They had President Trump on there talking in a casual atmosphere there, just hanging out there and answering off the wall questions and visiting. I would love to see Kamala Harris do something like that, see whether or not she could actually act like a normal human being if she didn't have something prepared for her. But did see that the Teamsters, just the rank and file members of the Teamsters, were polled on Wednesday, or it came out on Wednesday, and Trump just won by a landslide. Yet the leadership of the Teamsters Union would not endorse Trump. Instead, he just said, well, we're not going to endorse either side there. Of course, he really couldn't endorse the Democrats like they have for the last 30 years, seeing that all the membership was overwhelmingly for Trump. But, we've got a big election coming up here, guys, and I think it has a lot to do with the cattle market, or I wouldn't be talking about it too. Of course, we've got RFK. He's on Trump's side now. A big motivation for him is the Make America Healthy Again, and we need to make sure that we get beef included in that. This carnivore diet is getting really popular, and it's a healthy alternative to starving yourself, and we're seeing more people gravitate towards that. I think that could be a big boost for our beef demand going forward here. But we've just got a lot of things going on. Of course, going to be going to the big Trump rally in Fallon, Nevada next weekend on September the 28th. Going to have a big Trump rally and roping. Got a lot of people signing up for the roping. A lot of people donating cattle for the Trump cattle auction, and all that money will be going towards the Trump 47 campaign fund. And then later on October the 7th, going to be going out for the Harriet Hageman rally for the resolution that she has to stop mandatory EID tax. This mandatory EID deal, I mean, it is supreme government overreach, wanting you to tag all your cattle. And I realize right now, early November, they're going to start forcing everybody to mandatory EID tag their breeding stock over 18 months, but you know that it's just going to be a matter of time before they're going to implement all classes of cattle, which is going to be a killer for sale barns, guys. I mean, it's absolutely going to be a killer. Every time something comes down the pike for the cattle industry and they want to force people to do it, they put the onus on the auction markets to force that. Just like your beef checkoff, they force the auction markets to collect the dollar a head beef checkoff. If they don't do it right, they could be penalized for that. Then they have to turn all the money in there. But they're going to be enforcing that at the auction markets, and then the sale barns are going to be taxed with having to put all those tags in, and then they're going to have to charge the producers for that, and it's going to limit your marketing options, guys. There's always going to be some feedlot come along there, shoot you in the foot on a price for your cattle and say, don't worry about those tags, just give us the tags, we'll put them in whenever we bring the cattle in and process them. And guys, we don't want that. We want people to have all the options available to them to market their cattle, whether it's through a sale barn, whether it's a direct trade, whether it's on an internet or a video sale or whatever it is. It should be straight up whatever they want to do. But the having to tag these cattle and enforcing it whenever they market them, they're going to be putting that on the sale barns. Sale barns don't have time to do it. They don't have room to do it. They don't have the help to do it, and they don't want to do it. We shouldn't be forced to do that, guys. But your fat cattle trade is looking pretty promising, even though we haven't had any negotiated direct trade so far this week. I mean, we're just passing the middle part of the week. It's not uncommon to not have that, but these fat cattle sellers are hanging tough. They want to gain a little bit more ground. They gained some ground last week on the fat cattle market, made them hungrier yet, and they want to gain some more ground, and they are not giving in to steady bids. They're going to want more for these cattle. They deserve more for these cattle. We need to put a stop to this down market here, at least for a while, and kind of playing out for a little bit. Feeder cattle buyers are going right on forward, and a lot of farmer feeder interest is coming in on your feeder cattle market there, especially when you get into the northern plains up there where harvest is going full bore there, and the corn's not worth a lot. They want to walk it to town, guys. And you get up into that part of the country, you start seeing a lot of farmer feeder interest coming in there to help market their corn. But you look at the board, and it was down a little bit, but not as much as it was higher early in the week. So it's going to jostle back and forth a little bit. Don't be too afraid of it. Your October live cattle futures were down 50 cents on Wednesday at 178.30. December was steady at 179.85. And going into your back months, they were unchanged to 20 cents higher, so kind of a nothing day in your live cattle pits there. September feeder cattle were down 47 cents, but that's mild compared to what they were up earlier in the week at 242.82. October was down 80 at 239.95. And your back months ranged from down 17 cents to up 7 cents, so not much happening on your out fronts on the feeder cattle futures. December corn was up 1/4 cent a bushel at 4.12 3/4. November beans up 8 cents at 10.14 a bushel. Hard red winter wheat for December down 1.5 cents a bushel at 5.78.5. Like I said earlier, there's been virtually no negotiated direct trade out of your 5-area feeding region. There was a little bit there in Iowa on Monday at the high end of last week's price spread. Then we saw a little bit on Tuesday, a couple of off deals there that sold below that, but for the most part, nothing. Of course, absolutely nothing out of Texas and Kansas and the southern plains, and Nebraska hasn't sold a hoof either. Did see some fat cattle auctions on Wednesday. Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota, DVAuction broadcaster. They had 1,400 head for the slaughter cattle auction, including cows and bulls. And your fat cattle sold from steady to $4 higher. Conventional fat cattle selling from $184 to $189, and the program cattle non-implanted or drug-free selling from $185 1/4 to $188.75. Another fat cattle auction up the road at Glacial Lakes Livestock in Watertown, South Dakota. They sold their fat cattle $2 higher, with conventional cattle selling from $180 to $187. Some program cattle selling from $184 to $189, and fat Holstein steers from $160 to $168. Box beef cutout values were down pretty significantly on Wednesday. Choice cuts down $253 at $301.38. Selects down $247 at $289.75. Your slaughter's keeping up pretty well. Up through the first 3 days of the week, 371,000 estimated cattle slaughter under federal inspection. That's 9,000 more than last week, just 3,000 less than the same week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. We're having fun with the Punchy Pick of the Month contest. We're over halfway there to the next Punchy Pick winner, guys. And don't forget, if you are chosen as the Punchy Pick of the Month winner, you are going to get a big box delivered to your place there, plumb full of some really cool swag from Beaver Feed in Beaver, Oklahoma, Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma. You're going to get NationalBeefWire swag. You're going to get Feeder Flash swag. You're going to get a whole case of Fairpiece, that revolutionary product that is scientifically proven. Try to remember to attach a video with testimonials about Fairpiece at the end of this Feeder Flash episode. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DVAuction based on an 800-pound cash auction steer up through your middle 12 states. It's a 7-day moving average, just like your CME feeder cattle index. But late on Wednesday, sitting at 243.93. That was up 209 from the close of business on Tuesday. So some impressive sales on Wednesday. That's through your Wednesday sales and gaining some ground and surpassing your CME cash feeder cattle index, which latest available was 243.39. I told you earlier, coming out to Oklahoma City, going to be broadcasting and taking online bids for the Heritage Place yearling sale. This is racing quarter horses, guys. If you guys have made too much money over the past year and you need a good way to get rid of it, tune in to Heritage Place. It's kind of a trick to get approved for bidding there, but if you can get approved, we are going to be taking online bids for the yearling sale. They've got nearly 1,000 yearling racing quarter horses to sell at Heritage Place on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday here in Oklahoma City. Talk about your big feeder cattle auctions on Wednesday. OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma had 7,700 head this week, including their Tuesday calf sale and their Wednesday feeder sale. Unlike a lot of other sales, it was overwhelmingly feeder cattle on Wednesday, over 5,200 head. But your feeder cattle on Wednesday sold $3 to $5 higher. Weaned calves on Tuesday steady to $4 higher. Of course, your balling calves, especially if they're fleshy and just the look of them, they're going to be selling at a significant discount to that. OKC West and El Reno was your NationalBeefWire stick-out sale of the day, and it was impressive, guys. And this is your feeder cattle market here in the Midwest and the Southern Plains, guys. There were 1,243 head of 7-weight steers in El Reno, average 765, bring 247.05 on the average. 1,314 head of 8-weight feeder steers in El Reno, Oklahoma. They averaged 851 at 238.86, and 741 head of 9-weight feeder steers in El Reno averaged 935 at 227.46. Look at some heifer weights there. And this was just a Wednesday sale, of course. 298 head of 6-weight feeder heifers averaged 667 at 239.07. 514 head of 7-weight feeder heifers, OKC West, averaged 731 at 228.99, and 473 head of the 8-weight feeder heifers averaged 834 at 220.99. The stick-out deal, the most impressive quote that I saw out of El Reno was 118 head of feeder heifers weighed 809 and bring 231 there in El Reno, Oklahoma. They had an impressive sale up at a premium sale up in the Sand Hills of Nebraska. Bassett Livestock Auction in Bassett, Nebraska recently added DVAuction broadcasting there. They had 4,800 head, and it was a feeder special. They'll be having some calves here later on, but this was mostly bigger feeder cattle, and it was impressive. And some of these steers were going to be NHTC. Some of the heifers are going to be spayed, so you take that into consideration, but throw them all together. 581 head of 8-weight feeder steers in Bassett, Nebraska averaged 874 at 254.53. 1,331 head of 9-weight steers cattle were weighing heavy, guys. Averaged 962 at 243.74, and there were 375 head of the light 10 weight cattle, averaged 1018 at 235.60. Look at your heifers, 590 head of 8 weight feeder heifers, averaged 864 at 232.40, and 915 head of 9 weight feeder heifers. It takes a lot to make a heifer weigh 9, especially out on grass, guys. They averaged 942 at 222.97. Some individual quotes. How about Harrington Livestock Commission in Harrington, Kansas? Just think about where that's at, guys. Smaller auction market there. They do a great job. 62 steers weigh 826 and bring 251.10. Very impressive there. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Wednesday in your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, indeed come out of Bassett Livestock Auction in Bassett, Nebraska. Some non-hormone treated cattle. There were 65 steers weighed 920 and bring 254. That's your feeder flash for Thursday.
My biggest account is Jeff Slatton, the owner of Beaver County Stockyards. For a while, we was selling him lots of antibiotics to doctor his cattle with. He was having basically a wreck at times. Therapy comes along, we introduce it, he starts trying it out. Almost instantly, his vet bill reduced drastically, and the only thing that was changed up was therapies. I've also had other guys, cow-calf guys, this previous fall that tried it. Had one individual out here east of Beaver. First time he's ever tried it. He said he's always weaned his calves. They've bawled. They're right around his house. Can't sleep. This is the first year he's used it. He sent me a video one afternoon. The calves are all at the bunk. They're eating. They're spread out doing what they're supposed to do, and not a sound. So he was sold on it instantly. I've had several other reports of that. Lots of people saying that their cattle they act different. They're calmer, they handle easier, they're at the bunk, they're drinking. If your cattle are doing that, they're gaining, they're doing what they're supposed to do.